All right, welcome into the show. Happy Friday to the faithful. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. Hope everybody out there is getting set to have a fantastic weekend. A lot that I want to get into here on day 5 of NFL free agency. Want to start with how the Niners made another roster move. Ambry Thomas, former Niner, saying some ridiculous things on Twitter about the 49ers and players wanting out when in reality, the free agents who left scored more than $300 million combined. So we're going to get into all of that and a whole lot more, including a conversation I want to have about Mac Jones, because some Niner fans think that Mac Jones is being brought in to compete with Brock Purdy to be QB1. Stay tuned for it all, and don't forget to hit that sub button, by the way. Hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, share the video, and comment. All simple ways to support the channel here. So the 49ers have decided to release long snapper Taybor Pepper. And this continues what has been an offseason in which we have seen the Niners really shake up their roster. And with Pepper being released, they were in the market for a long snapper for only a couple of minutes. I don't even think it lasted an hour after Pepper had spent the previous 5 years with San Francisco, because after the Niners released Pepper, the news came out from Aaron Wilson that the 49ers were interested in longtime Texans long snapper Jon Weeks, and then shortly thereafter, the 49ers signed him to a deal. And this is fascinating for a few reasons, mostly because of how long Weeks has been in the National Football League. He played his college football at Baylor. He was there from 2004 to 2007. He went undrafted in 2008. Without an NFL job until he landed with the Houston Texans in 2010. Then he spent 14 years with the Houston Texans, starting in 2010 all the way up until now, and made it to a Pro Bowl in 2015. He's been one of the best long snappers in the sport while with Houston, spending his entire career there. Like, to be with one organization for a decade and a half in the NFL, it's crazy. Even if it's at that long snapper spot, we're talking about a team captain here, a player who has played in 244 games. And I just want to have some fun here on the show, right? He started his NFL career in 2010. America in 2010. First of all, I graduated high school that year, Bayard Rustin High School in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Bayard Rustin High School, folks. Barack Obama was 2 years into his presidency. The most popular song of 2010, according to the Billboard year-end Hot 100 singles, was TikTok by Kesha. Recovery by Eminem was the best-selling rap album and best-selling overall album in 2010. The highest-grossing movie that year, Toy Story 3, which earned a total of more than $1 billion worldwide. And how about the 49ers? What an era of Niners football that was. San Francisco, in the first year under Jim Tom Sula, went 6-10. That was after the Mike Singletary regime. And that's everything that transpired in 2010 when Jon Weeks started his NFL career. And now he continues it with the San Francisco 49ers, taking the place of Taybor Pepper. The Niners signing him to a 1-year, $1.4 million deal. He will earn $200,000 in guaranteed money. And we've talked so often about how the Niners have been cutting costs while they're actually paying Weeks more money than they were paying Taybor Pepper after his 5-year stint with San Francisco. What I'm so upset about is that we never got a Taybor Pepper Nick Bosa debate. Would have been great entertainment. I would have paid for it. I would have bought some tickets if it happened in a public sphere. We never will see a Taybor Pepper Nick Bosa debate. How sad. Anyway, this Niners polo was $80. It's now on sale for $43. You can get it today at chatsports.com/49polo. I've worn this polo a lot here on the program. If you want to be like me, if you want to get some fresh gear, get it today. Thanks to our friends at Fanatics. All right, let's have a conversation here about Mac Jones. Is Mac Jones being brought in to compete with Brock Purdy? What's crazy is that his salary this year could be more than what Brock Purdy's salary is going to be. And obviously, the football gods have some humor. They have some sarcasm. Because in the lead up to the 2021 NFL Draft, there were so many rumblings and so much buzz that the Niners were going to take Mac Jones at quarterback because Kyle Shanahan fell in love with him in the pre-draft process. You had the likes of Adam Schefter reporting that the Niners were going to indeed take Mac Jones after he led Alabama to the national championship on a loaded roster. And that year, he threw 40 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. It was a great year. And you think about Jones as the player, right? He is a quarterback who thrives getting the ball out on time, accurately, in rhythm. The quarterbacks who work the best under Kyle Shanahan are the quarterbacks like that. And Brock Purdy has been able to have a lot of success in the NFL with those being his strengths, on top of processing, making good decisions, being able to layer footballs in there downfield, being an underrated long ball thrower. I like the signing of Mac Jones to be a backup quarterback. Brock Purdy needed a backup. The Niners needed a backup. Brock Purdy has had injury problems on his throwing arm. And I'm excited to see what Kyle Shanahan can do with Mac Jones. You also get some insurance at that backup quarterback spot because Jones is signing a 2-year deal. And so I think he looks at the Niners as a way to resurrect his career, to finally be under a great offensive mind after being with the New England Patriots. The offensive situation there was trash. And then he went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Doug Peterson had 1 foot out, 1 foot in, and he was going to get fired. And the Jags were a disaster as well. Finally, for Mac Jones, he has stability. He has structure. He's with an organization that has won a lot. And I'm excited to watch him play in the preseason. I'm excited to see what he can do in training camp. I'm always a fan of quarterback developmental stories, especially coaching staffs who are quality coaching staffs trying to resurrect players. We saw it with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold thanked Brock Purdy and his tenure with the Niners for him finding his groove. And he had conversations with Purdy, and Purdy told him, hey, sometimes you just got to be the point guard out there and get the ball out to all of your playmakers. And Sam Darnold credited his year last year partially to the influence of Purdy. And Purdy's been able to develop under Kyle Shanahan. I think Mac Jones can do the same. But come on, don't get it twisted. Mac Jones is not being brought in here to be this team's starting quarterback in 2025. Not as good as Brock Purdy. It'd be an idiotic move. I don't even think it's right to say that they should compete for the starting quarterback role because Brock Purdy has been so superior. Mac Jones is a backup. Maybe at some point he can turn back into a starter, but he's a limited athlete who was a Pro Bowler as a rookie, hasn't played well since then. He's suffered from confidence issues. He's been said to kind of be a little bit of a jerk, not the easiest person to deal with. You act like that around Kyle Shanahan, Shanahan's going to be alpha in the room. Mac Jones is being brought in as a backup. I like the signing of him as a backup, but I don't think, nor do I think it should be anything more. Lastly, let's round out with this. So, Ambry Thomas was a third-round pick by the Niners a few years ago out of Michigan, and he struggled a little bit to start his career. He was a COVID opt-out at Michigan in 2020. In 2021, started to play well down the stretch. He had that game-clinching interception the final week of the season against the Los Angeles Rams as the Niners came back from 17-0. And that officially got them into the playoffs. Ambry Thomas, at the end of the season, played pretty good football. The following year, barely played at all, suffered from a lack of confidence in 2023. I thought he played well under Steve Wilks, who has a defensive back background. Then in the playoffs, he was terrible. Penalties left and right. And then he got hurt again in 2024, and he swore that he was healthy. And so the Niners let him go. He signed elsewhere, I believe with the Vikings or the Colts, and he failed his physical there. He's now with Minnesota. Anyway, he never really panned out as a consistent player as a third-round pick. There were moments where he played well, but that's not what you want from a third-rounder. He took to Twitter yesterday, and he said this. Legend says, I wasn't the only one asking to get up out of there. Crying, laughing emojis. So he's indicating that all of these players were eager to get out of San Francisco. They didn't want to play with the Niners any longer. You know what the real reason is that a lot of players have left the Niners? And really it's twofold. One, the Niners wanted to get younger, and they wanted to shed some salary, reset the salary cap a little bit, eat some of this dead money, and build through the draft. And number two, players have left the Niners not just because, or not because at all, they didn't want to be a part of this organization. Players have left the Niners. Why? Because all of the players who departed, Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, Aaron Banks, Charvarius Ward, and others have combined to cash in on contracts of more than $300 million combined. Even a player like Isaac Yiadom is signing for 3 years, $9 million to go to the New Orleans Saints, and last year he was terrible with the Niners. These players have left because of the organizational philosophy, the organization's decisions to not bring those players back, not wanting to pay them because they want to get younger and clear up some salary cap space. Not because the Niners are a bad organization, dysfunctional. There are plenty of those across the NFL. I mean, come on. Prior to last year, the Niners made it to an NFC Championship game in 4 of 5 years and made it to 2 Super Bowls. And other teams paying the Niners players, I think, is so telling because they see talent and value in those players. So Ambry Thomas, sour grapes, my man. Not a good look. Don't forget to hit that sub button. We're going to be going live a little bit later here on the Niners Report, about to join Larry Krueger on the Krug Show to talk all things Niners as well.